Okay, we call meeting to order. First order of business would be, we actually have two sets of minutes from the October 20th meeting and November 4 meeting. This was mailed to the magistrates, quite lengthy, I would add.
Motion to approve is presented.
Both sets, good.
Yes, both sets.
Motion, a second by Jerry Hahn. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye. Aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. Next will be your bills list and transfers. Question on the prepaid bills was to Bluegrass Engineering Surveying. That's for continuing education for Mr. Lemieux.
Here it is, November, I gotta have December.
Okay, you're right on time. You were like my daughter getting her classes.
Going on December the 1st?
Hey, they've got some training they're going to do by January 1st. Any questions on the regular bills list? Other than, let me make a note that City of Bloomfield, City of New Haven, we went ahead and paid them the full recreation support for the fiscal year instead of having it like we've been doing around that we didn't want to make out 2 checks. And the money's not getting anything in the bank on for it.
This is the final
That's
on the
on-
restoration on the old state building down
State
there.
office building, yeah, good point, Sam. $50,000, we got our insurance
Yeah.
check, we're paying that out.
And then
Then $29,000 coming out of our hat. There may be a few miscellaneous things that had to be done that, you know, we touched up some things that while we were into doing the renovations out. For instance, we paid $800 for an additional furnace at our expense because we took the old one out, it was rusted on bottom, and there was no use putting an old dilapidated furnace back in there. And where it had been leaking and rusting over the years. So we did a few extra little things like that while we had the building tore up.
Did you put that control valve in?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I did that a couple weeks ago.
That was $750 or something,
Yeah.
I think it was, on the last bills.
Yes.
Did we put it in? Did we put it in?
No, you have to have a plumber
City
to
of
put it in. You have to have a plumber to put it in.
Outback, was it? or-
Yeah, I think it was Outback.
Now back a bit on it, but he was higher than the guy out of that does our at the jail. What's that guy at the jail used? Campbellsville, Central Kentucky, where they flush out the they got the machine that flushes the sewer lines out for us.
Yeah.
He's a plumber too, and he gave us a bid of $200 cheaper than. Motion to approve the bills and transfers.
The bills and transfers as presented.
Thank you, Carter. There's a second. Second by Jerry Hahn. All approved, say aye. Disapprove? The motion will carry. Next item on the agenda is the first reading of the Personnel Policy Amendment. Last meeting we had a first reading, but due to some changes that Matthew had recommended. Matthew,
If I may, real quickly. Gentlemen, basically, as you know, our previous FMLA requirements contained a lot of information that was arguably inconsistent with the changes that have come in the federal law, the interpretations under FMLA. But one thing that we did need to include that frankly I just missed is when our leave begins. Does it begin with a calendar year? Does it begin on the day that the employee begins sickness? I just took it out. I erroneously took it out the first time, and thanks to Elaine's keen eye, I appreciate that very much, Elaine. What we need to do is reinsert when leave will begin to calculate, which is consistent with what the ordinance was in the beginning, which is when the sickness begins. So it's not a calendar leave issue. So, anybody have any questions?
Motion to approve on first reading, advertised for a second. Motion by Jeff Lear. Second. Second by Keith Metcalf. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? The motion will carry. We'll advertise for our next court meeting. Thank you, Matthew. And thank you, Elaine, for catching that. Okay, next order of business would be a reinstatement of a position that we had at the Occupational Codes Office at one time. Back before the recession hit, we actually had two people, one with occupation, one with codes, and they were both kind of trained to go both ways. I'm going to ask Fiscal Court, and the Personnel Committee met this morning. You guys would, I'm recommending to you to reinstate that position into a 3-day-a-week position, not a full-time position, a 3-day-a-week position at probably 7 to 8 hours a day, because of the The codes office has been real busy with buildings and inspections, because that's back up a little, quite a bit now. And then the occupational tax office has needed some assistance for some time. And it leaves us barehanded when we don't have anybody in that office.
And we're working toward keeping that open during the lunch hour as well.
Yeah. Okay. And we're not able to do that.
Have you got any documentation on how busy they are? I would like to look at that.
I can get you that information. Yeah.
We need a motion to do that?
Yes, reinstate. So you guys have to
Okay.
reinstate the positions. I do the immediate personal hiring. But now, let me just tell you, the occupational tax is up about 3 to 5%. That's $50,000, $60,000. We're probably missing out on another 50 by not being able to follow up with new people doing business. And the garbage collection, Teresa alone stays on the delinquent garbage bills and collects between $30,000 and $40,000 a year.
See what happens is Salt River bills, and then they'll send you a late notice.
Yes.
After that late notice, it falls upon us back
To
there
collect.
to follow up from that.
She's doing it all.
Then at that point, at some point in time, Teresa finally takes it to Matthew Nim's office, which is, it's a long process. So she's the in-between of going to court.
So what's this job going to do then? Just for Teresa? Is that what Teresa?
Yeah, yes.
Well, I'll make a motion that we hire, I guess for the time being, a temp person, 3 days a week,
3 days a week.
to aid in the occupational license and codes department.
Thank you, Sam.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Bernard, aye. See further discussion?
Yeah, what's this going to cost and where's it coming from?
This comes from the occupational tax, and the codes be split proportionally based on the hours that we appropriate each. What we do, 50/50 now?
Right, no, 25 to code, 75% to occupational.
75 occupation.
So we've got a little room there to,
How much is this going to?
Well, 3 days a week, $15 an hour. What do we calculate that to be? It was less than $25,000 a year.
26 a year. It's part-time right now.
So you don't pay the benefits.
So if you work 24 hours, it's not part-time?
It is part-time.
It is part.
30 hours or less.
Yes, yes.
I can get you an exact budget on it. I mean, we're in no hurry to do this. I mean, if it doesn't take.
I would just like to see some
15
figures,
times
just to be
24
sure
times
it's warranted.
52.
Did you see the figures on?
18
Or y'all just?
I pretty much take Rhonda's recommendation. I'm a little skeptic about his, but I believe her.
Well, that's what I said. I'd like to have something in black and white where I can actually see it.
Okay, if you're up 5% in occupational tax and you're missing out on 20%.
Well, you're saying that, but I don't know that. I'm not in here reading that. But
I've had enough experience to tell you, we're missing out on occupational tax right now.
And I know they
Every
need some
single
help.
day. I have a new person going into business, somebody's doing business, somebody's coming in for 6 months doing a construction job, and we're not able to catch 20 people working doing a construction job here for 6 months. All that's costing us money, and we're not able.
Is that what they're going to be doing? Something of that nature?
Teresa goes to the newspapers, and she's a one-person show back there right now. She goes to the newspapers, and somebody's doing business in town, she contacts them, but she doesn't have the time to do it if she's collecting $40,000 worth of delinquent garbage bills. Follow what I'm saying? It's just common sense. We had 2 full-time people in that position at one time.
How long ago?
2007, 8,
Yeah, when I first came on.
and the recession hit.
Yeah.
Keith, you can look at that on his page.
But motion's been made
Oh,
on
it's
second.
nothing to Rhonda. I'd just like to see it.
Well, you can vote yea or nay, but we have a motion and a second on the floor. All approved, say aye. Disapprove.
I disapprove. I'd like to see it in black and white.
Motion carries. Thank you, but I will get you that information. Road Department report, culvert replacement grant, been able to work with the State Highway Department and get an additional amount of money for a project Sam and I have been talking about the last 3 years probably. That's a culvert replacement on Woodlawn Road in the amount of $73,100. Need a motion to approve the resolution and the agreement. Authorize me to sign the agreement.
Motion to that effect.
Motion by Sam, is there a second? Second by Jerry. Now discussion, anybody have any questions? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry.
just he's getting a whole lot done out that way. I mean,
He's got a lot of constituents out there. A lot of voters, Jerry.
I know, but I have too.
There's a lot of need, a lot of need.
Actually, we've been talking about this for 3 or 4 years, probably.
I helped you that time, but I won't next time.
I won't have you arrested for robbing horses.
Next order of business on the road department is foreman's position. Internally, we advertised internally within our departments. We had several applicants that had showed interest in it. I interviewed a couple of what I consider the top 2 applicants in my mind. And also, it's more important than that, I've been following. If you keep up with what's going on at the road department and other departments, you kind of see who's stepping to the plate and doing the things from day-to-day operation. I'm recommending that Paul Donahue be promoted to that position to take Jerry Newton's position when he retires in late December, 23rd.
December 23rd is his last day.
And Paul's working internally in the road department right now, and I think will make an excellent working foreman for us. You understand these are working foremen versus a office type of personnel.
He's good on all the equipment down there, isn't he?
Yes.
He can use a grade all. He can do it all.
He said that probably the weakest link, when I interviewed and talked to him, was the grader, and he's going to try to work on that, but he doesn't.
He'll catch
That
on.
wasn't a requirement. Total big picture is what we're looking
We
for.
pretty much got a grader operator if we
We
need.
got 2 grader operators that we got. That's
And one
what we
doesn't
need.
have CDL.
I need another one trained.
Yeah.
It's just like Jerry, he didn't run, there's several pieces he didn't run, so.
Right.
They don't run every piece we have.
Right.
Paul can run most everything we got.
Well, that grade all is a very important tool if you got to go out at 2 o'clock in the morning and get a tree out of the road.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing in another worker, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we always
We always send 2 anyway
Yeah,
for
I
safety
understand
reasons.
that, yeah. When you change
I think
it.
that's
He drove
it'd be
it
great.
off, big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to get in it and go.
I think it'll work really well.
I do too.
Well, I need a motion to move him into that position.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jerry. Second by Bernard Ice. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry.
Y'all,
We'll sit down and talk about salary and so forth in the future. We'll see what we can do there. And of course, we'll have
now
approval.
you realize I'm a man short.
We've already been made aware of that by the personnel committee this morning.
You'll get my heart.
Like I've said before, it's not a big deal other than winter. When winter comes, every guy has.
We're working
You're a
on that.
man short.
Last year, this date, we had 3 inches.
It looks like we'd be a man short in District 1 too, so.
No, we got a grader operator.
But one thing you gotta think about, whoever you hire needs CDLs. So at least they can drive the trucks.
Oh, yeah. Well, internally, what we've done is worked successfully. It moves, advertised within and moves someone from one of the other departments. In particular, it's usually the garbage or solid waste and landfill to the road.
But they've already got.
Most of those guys already have their CDLs.
Right.
But there's still a trick to driving one of those big trucks with that plow in front of it versus a regular dump truck with nothing. And like the coordination of the salt and the snow plow itself, that doesn't come.
It's complicated.
It doesn't come overnight. I mean, it's a little.
Yeah, he needs a little practice
Yeah.
before.
And he's going to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
But we'll work. Sam's already made us aware of that this morning.
Okay.
Don't worry, you're covered. He had the full teeth, but Jim, what's the rest of your report?
All right, bush hogs are put up for the winter. We are boom mowing. The boom mower's back. We're in District 2 and we'll be going to District 5 when we get District 2 done. We had beefed up one of the cylinders on the mowing deck to make it hold up better. Grader crew, Jerry Newton's crew, we got Han Ridge Road widened a little bit there. If you saw that, I don't know if you saw it. Voting machines for 2 days worth of work. That crew takes voting machines all over the place. First time I had to worry about that, and I guess everybody got the vote right. So usually Kroger handles all that. I don't have to worry about voting. Anyway,
It is different. I mean, it's another responsibility.
anyway, it's got to work. It's got to be right, or I got to deal with, or I got to feel for Lane, I'm in trouble.
Do you know what to do with that?
We finished hot mix patching, guys. We're gonna put the machine up and winterize it. It's too nasty, too wet, but we did get, had a problem on Murphy Lane. I sent y'all a little report on a problem there. We hot mix patched it, and we put some barrels out and some signage. We'll see how that goes through the winter and see how it holds up. It's a tough little fix. Green Chapel, Potter Shop Road, Deer Valley Court, R.L. Greer were some of the last areas we patched based on work order that we received.
District here, Jerry, again.
You didn't get to Simpson Road,
As far as,
Dixon? I called left on range machine.
I have to look at it. No, we haven't done anything with, other than gone out there and opened up some pipes, and there's a pipe culvert at the entrance is what I've been told that needs replacing, but we haven't got to that point yet. Now, what's wrong with the road?
It washed over all the way back almost to the end of it. The water came down and the pipe was closed up right. And it's
What road is that, Jerry?
Simpson Road, Chapel.
Ashes Creek.
Ashes Creek.
Yeah.
We'll just have to look at it.
Just look at it for me.
And see if we can gravel it, straighten it up for the winter. It's a chip seal road.
It's Ship Hill Road.
All right.
Larry Richardson lives at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to chip seal and patch right now. I mean, to go out there and do any of that kind of work is tough. And coordinating the oil,
If you can get some gravel to hold you
Just-
to the winter,
just-
bad.
Whatever to make him happy.
I have sent out a request for proposal on coal mix to Mago and Scotty's paving and
We expect those back then.
any day. More than likely, they'll bid it through a state contract and we'll get a state contract price. The state puts out a contract and each, and
Should
they'll,
be done that.
yeah,
It'll be
it'll
first
become,
December.
yeah, it's supposed, I'm about out of coal mix, so.
A real good mix too, by the way. It's worth the tonnage price we paid for it.
We've done some tree removal, ditching on Boston Road area, Shady Lane, some pipe installation on driveway entrances on Wire Lane, things like that. Coal mix patching as needed, which that's routine. I mentioned you guys sent something to you about our truck problem for this coming winter. You know, these two new tandems we got, they're almost 3 years old. They'll be 3 years old in January. We just got one of them back. They call it number 307. Overhauled. It cost $7,500. The engine locked up. 3 pistons, the rod's bent on them. So anyway, the point of it is those international trucks with those type of engines don't have a good reputation. That's not just our trucks, it's state trucks and everything else. What I'd like to do, if we have one of our plow trucks go down, that really hurts because we don't have backup on the equipment. So what I'd like to do is take the tandem truck to landfill and put some money into it and get it where we can use it as a plow truck as a backup, because I don't trust these trucks. They have given us problems, and to get them fixed in Georgetown, that truck was there for over a month.
About $4,000 or so, or $5,000.
Yeah, something to that
Once they
effect.
wrapped up to date.
It's basically new tires and lights on the back. It's not a whole lot of
That's
work.
mostly routine maintenance.
Yeah, and it's to get them lit up well where you can see them late when it's dark.
Have we got a salt box?
I got an extra salt box. We bought a new one that we can get on there, and then we have a leftover plow from that
From that type?
type.
Go ahead and move forward.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea.
What it is, guys, when it's at the landfill, it runs at the landfill, but for it to go over the road, that's a different scenario, so that's why the need.
But you can also use that to haul in some of your, so it's going to have a dual purpose.
It's not that it's not road worthy. It's in pretty decent shape, but it just
Right,
needs.
right.
We're going to be out in the middle.
Whatnot.
We're going to need better, just a little better tires and lighting on the, make sure all the lights are flashing right and all that kind of stuff. And it just takes money to do that. It doesn't take a lot to spend $3,000 on tires on trucks. I mean,
No,
it's just-
we're to the point of the year, Jim and I talked about it, we're done hauling dirt, basically. I can't haul
You don't
mud.
need it through the winter.
The only thing we've been doing is hauling concrete from the concrete plants out there, and Jim's can help with that, so I can finally pull that truck off what we typically use it for and let them.
We haul from the concrete plants have waste concrete, and we haul it. We've been hauling all the last couple of weeks for Brad to our trucks. So with this truck being fixed, we'll still get him the waste concrete. It helps build his haul roads into the landfill at really no cost of material cost. So it works out well. So we'll work with Brad on that when we pull this truck out and work on it. Weed control, we had 3 guys got a continuing education and got recertified, I guess that's what you call it. Road salts coming in, I got about 620 tons of the 1,000-ton order. Got 3 more tandems coming in, or 2 tandems and several tracks was coming in today. Probably in 2 or 3, 4 days we'll have the full 1,000 tons. Cost. 2 developments going on, Corman's Crossing, Lakeside Lane, out there on 62. The weather's killed that one. Corman's just trying to get, they got concrete curbs poured the other day. But other than that, I think that's about it then.
Okay.
Jim, is Lego still paving? Yeah, they're paving, and the only one we got left that they're looking to do, and I think it's okay to do, is over there in Jerry's district, the campground church. That's not an overlay. It's a chip seal road, so I think it'll be okay. We're going to put 2.5 inches surface on it and get it. We did a lot of work on it. I'd like to get it paid for winter, and then the people can get in and out. We can plow it. Plus, we'll have to go back and fix a lot of things if it sits through the winter. So I talked to Mike Rogers this morning. If the weather's good next week, he's going to try to do it.
It looks like a couple good days.
I think it'll be okay on that road because, like I said, it's not an overlay. We got to put the oil down and it tacks to your old pavement. But basically, they're done on our roads.
I won't hold in this lane though, that's too late.
I'll just let them know it now. He sent me a notice about Patton Road and things like that. It is getting too late. The rain comes every other day and it's cold. But when you're putting 2.5 inches down on chip seal, it's not
Basically, you put the base, even though it's a surface mix, but you put the base.
Yeah.
Down the road somewhere, you're gonna put another inch over somewhere. Anyway.
So, but that's the only one I know that he's got planned on trying to get done. So, and you guys got any? I think you done spent all your money, and Sam's so tight. I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life.
Okay.
He pays by the inch.
Anything else, Jim?
No, that's it.
Okay. Landfill solid waste report.
For the news media holiday schedule, as always, we will be taking off Thursday, the 26th. Thanksgiving, we will work the 27th and 28th. So after Thanksgiving, everything gets pushed a day. We'll get a lot of phone calls on that. We did get inspected randomly yesterday by the EPA. Everything turned out fine according to the verbal report to me. So what helped out a lot of that was, again, the road department helping haul topsoil. That's a big thing. They want to see the landfill covered well.
They've been hauling a lot of that concrete, broken up concrete.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. What we do is, if you order 10 yards of concrete, you only use 9. Well, they take it back to their plant and just pour it out on the ground. Well, they got tons and tons of it. And so we haul it out, and instead of buying rock at the landfill, we use that. We put it down now this is within the landfill itself. We put it down for a road, and it works well. We take a high lift, run over it, and breaks it down, and then we'll actually top dress it with, of all things, chips. And it's a cheap way of getting people in and out. It works really well. It really does. Road department makes that happen for us, so it saves us a lot of money out there. Really, that's about it. I mean, unless you guys have specific.
Key thing was the Thanksgiving schedule on that.
Correct. That was the best thing for us.
What we're doing is what we do every year.
Every year. So, and the only thing I do ask the public is stick your garbage out early, because we will run extra trucks if we got them and extra people. So if you're used to your garbage coming at 1 o'clock, it may be 8 o'clock that day. So get it out early.
Okay, EMS report, Joe's not here, but we'll move on then. As far as I know, I keep up with most of what's going on out there. It's, EMS is doing an excellent job. Jonathan was here earlier. Do you have to leave? Jail report, Dorcas.
Okay, today we have a total of 127 inmates. We have 2 in Hardin County, 3 on home incarceration. We have 30 state inmates. We have 6 that serve weekends. We still have 1 at KCPC. So we have an in-house total of 115 inmates. I've got my major, Doug Carr, is retiring. Thursday is his last day. He goes into surgery on Friday. So I have found a sergeant at Hardin County Jail who's interested in, he wants the job.
That lives in Nelson.
That lives in Nelson. But he won't be able to start now until December the 8th because he had to give his notice over there. So his name is Justin David Hall. So I'd like to have fiscal court to approve him as a major.
Bear in mind that Dorcas hires and fires who she wishes. We just basically approve it for the salary purposes. You'll bring him in about what Doug was making.
Yes.
Because he's already at an experience level.
Right, he is.
Motion to approve. Thank you, Jeff. Is there a second? Second by Bernard Ice. Any further discussion? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Disapprove? Motion will carry.
Thank you, that's all I have.
I think he'd make a good person.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got the, 10 years experience?
He's got, 10 years, he's an IT personnel.
With
there,
Victor-
he was training,
And
Kathy.
Kathy, I can see her, she was working at Town and Country Bank, their son. Okay, we'll move on then. Just some informational things today. Magistrates training, December the 2nd, I put a brochure on your mail or at your desk there, and you can get 3 hours of training. 2 hours of it will be with the ad district to talk about community development, talking about the programs that Lincoln Trail administers. Another hour, that would be the health department. Sarah Jo will be there talking about the health department. It'd be a good way to get 3 hours of training and also help you understand when you hear me in E-Town to some of these meetings, you can understand what I'm talking about and what I'm going for. Feed America.
Is that meeting here?
It's at Lincoln Trail,
Over in E-Town?
E-Town, at the right across from the college. It's open for anybody to, you don't have to get to train. They're getting the credit hours, but, if anybody, it's actually will be, especially the health department side of it, of the programs that we deal with.
An hour doesn't sound like enough. Health department.
It probably won't, but maybe Wendell's probably going to split it up a little bit more, but we'll see on that.
They got a lot doing.
Jim sits on the district health board with myself. Feed America program will be November the 25th. It'll be next week. And that will be the day before Thanksgiving. And the St. Gregory's Linda Ham program has that month, so we should be in good shape. Tyler, you have anything that I didn't put? I'm not used to putting you on the agenda yet, but I'm going. One of these days you're going to get there. But do you have anything you want to report on?
We're just having our first grade board meeting December the 8th. It's 6 o'clock in this meeting room.
Okay. And you got an agenda already set up, so I think it'll go fine. Under old and new business, I want to talk to the court a little bit about the 911 services. And, legislation was changed. No, it wasn't changed. I think was it Boone County guys that passed a law where you can now put those 911 fees on property. Is it tax bills, or how do they do that, Dean?
Water.
Just a fee.
On utilities?
Yeah, utility fee. But,
I'm not proposing that, but that got me to thinking about how, what we're doing here locally already. Our 911 fees on the landlines generates about between $150,000 and $170,000 a year. So I took the number of households, and that's not 100% accurate, but that'll get you pretty close. The number of the households divided by the amount of revenue that we take in, $20.52 a year is what the average landline will pay. So that equates to about 7,310 participants. That's only about probably a little over a third of the people are actually participating on the landlines. Now the cell phone bill, it's 70 cents a month versus the landlines, which is $1.71. So it's unbalanced as to who's actually funding the 911 services. And we've had discussions about how can we make it fairer for everybody involved. And somewhere along the line, whether it be this fiscal court, the current city council, or the next generation is going to have to deal with this issue to make it a level playing field for all parties. But I've started doing some discussions to myself. I've talked to myself to psych myself up to work on these things sometimes. But getting the information together, and I've contacted the city to get the exact numbers. I based it on the city's 911 budget, and I divided it out, and that's how I came up with the number of households. 7,300 out of 18,900 households in our county. So you can see not everybody's participating on the landlines. So it's not a good mechanism to fund the 911 service like it was initiated.
Plus, that number is decreasing rapidly.
Yeah.
Uh,
To give an example,
Nobody's got a landline.
in 2012, say we bring in, and I base it on the numbers that the city had through March of this year, it was going to generate about 150,000 this year. In 2012, it was almost 300,000, 295,000. It's about half of what the generation was. So we're losing revenue from the landlines, but we're not picking it up in the cell phones. Because cell phones got a mandatory 70-cent cap on it by the state.
Is that a state? I thought
State.
it was
A state.
established by you guys.
The landlines was
Landlines are us.
established by the court years ago.
I thought you had a.
No, it would be simple. All we would do is change the ordinance to raise the cell phone to match that. It would get you closer. It wouldn't get you exactly where you need to be, but get you closer.
I didn't know the state.
Plus, the land, or the cell phone monies don't, if you know, they're not county-based. They all go to a big pot. And all this stuff that we're going through with the 911 board, with the
Readdressing stuff.
addressing so that cell phones can get coverage on a 911 call, you can locate them with that. That's a requirement to get any of that money. All right? But all the other counties in the state are going that way as well. So all this money that comes from the cell phone goes into a pot and it's divided up who meets this criteria. So that number is shrinking as well. It's not a good way to budget for a service, because one, you can't predict what your revenue is going to be every month. All right. Two, the pots that you're getting are shrinking, and you know, the requirements continue to go up for technical requirements continue to go up. It's you know, it's a not a good way to do it.
How do they deal with the household may have 4 cell phones?
Correct. Yeah.
So the inequity of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, that is the case. I mean, you know, a lot of, you know, we had one landline. Right now, we got, my family has 5 cell phones. You know.
Right.
So you're paying $3.50 a month
Yeah.
times 12.
Just, I mean, just the funding mechanism
It's not a good
is so it's variable. It's not a good, and the cost does not change every year based on what your revenue is. So it comes out of your tax dollar. And then when you have you know, the discussion between who pays what, the city and the county, you know, these guys they're sitting out there having no idea what's going to happen. You know, it's just not.
For instance, in 2012, the revenue was $298,000 from the, back up, $295,000 from the landlines. The next full year, it went down $100,000 to $199,000.
That's a big cut.
That's a big cut in 1 year.
But the 911 cost escalated probably half that.
Correct.
The requirements in their cost probably went up, so there's really about a $200,000 deficit.
There is some upcoming training I just got yesterday where they're going to address some of these developments with the case and Supreme Court ruling that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over that and try to get some more information on how Boone County itself is implemented.
Yeah.
So Boone County put a line item on the tax bill, is that what they're doing?
They did, and then they got sued.
Did they
Said you
lose the
can't
suit?
do it. They
No,
won the
they won
Supreme
the
Court,
suit.
and always Kentucky Supreme
Supreme
Court.
Court said they could do it.
Yeah.
So like the fire due fees on for the county fire department.
How much is our cell phones generating?
The cell phones now are generating, according to this contract on cell phones, they're estimating 171,850.
But not all cell phone companies participated.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an
That's
inequity
the
there,
thing. Yeah.
Jeff could tell you.
Yeah, and the additional requirements to get
Yes.
That part of that money.
We're spending about $1
costs you
million
money.
to get to that.
It's not, free money is not always free.
This mapping thing's
But-
expensive.
The flip side of that is, if you don't provide that service for your constituents and for the people in your
You're not
community,
entitled to that pot of money.
well, I mean, that's irrelevant. They're still paying that money.
Yeah.
All right? So the money's leaving, the people are paying, but they're not getting the service.
Not getting any service.
Yeah.
If we go back to the old system of dispatching, then you had, nobody wants you to go backwards.
And if the community doesn't pay, a lot of that goes to the state police, and their dispatching has none of those services that they're already paying for. So it'd be fairly irresponsible to let the money go away and not provide the service because they're paying for it regardless.
What's the?
But it's not free.
The only reason, and the reason I bring this up is start some discussions about how it can be made fair to the taxpayers.
But if you can't put it on the tax bill,
You can't, no.
at the current rate, you can't put it on the tax bill.
I think you can.
Well, that's what he's going to the training, Boone County got sued.
And keep in mind, this would be a replacement, not an addition
Right.
to.
Yeah. Where everybody would be paying us about the same amount.
Get rid of your landline fee.
We'd have
control.
to rescind the ordinance for the landline fee to $1.71 a month, which is $20.52 a year. And come up with, if everybody was paying it, then that would generate quite a bit more money for the, and we still have to contribute our 200 and some odd thousand. I'm not saying we'd do away with that. But you're not, unless you just jack it way up, you're not going to eliminate that. About what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
You know, the cost of electronic equipment and all that is just going.
Well, when the payroll is your biggest expense, and payroll-related expenses that go with that, that's your biggest expense.
I haven't looked at the numbers that you're talking about right here, but I'm just saying conceptually, it would be a fair way to do it. Replace one with the other.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, if you could get.
I want to emphasize replace. Take capital.
I noticed you're placing your words real good for Jimmy there. And Mr. White over there. So if you could get 18,000 people paying $20 a year versus 7,000 people paying $20 a year, is what the goal could be to get everybody on the level playing field. But it's going to have to happen. Otherwise, you're going to run out of money in the general fund for the county and cities.
Yeah, so they're paying for it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just not an equitable way, right?
Okay. Just want to get the discussion started. Y'all like those kind of discussions, don't you?
Okay, take a vote on it. It's no for me right now. Something's black and white.
This was an educational component.
Oh, okay.
It is to find that person in the field with a cell phone calling 911. That's the whole goal of it, is to get it to that point. We're not there.
That's something I would reiterate, is that we've extended the last 3 years to meet their requirements, gotten an extension, and we're under the gun for July 1st of next year to have that mapping stuff in place. And I mean, it's very important that it gets done to get the revenue to keep it going.
Have to pass an audit. to do it.
They'll go out there and send a signal and see if it shows up on the map at the office.
They'll do randoms, yeah.
Right. And it's not quite there yet. So that takes money.
And we've been putting the bill. Whatever they've added, I mean, we've got a note with a 911 board already, $200,000. Yeah, I saw in the news the other day, one of the, Oldham County, I believe it was, or one of the counties, had over $1.3 million and hadn't gotten there yet, 100%.
No, this is not unique to Nelson County.
Yeah.
This is all over the state.
They spent over $1 million. I think it was Oldham, one of the counties surrounding us, fairly close to us.
Everyone is either experiencing exactly what we're experiencing, or they're in denial that they're experiencing.
I thank you. Thank you for the discussion. Good discussion.
One representative had a bill last year trying to alleviate this problem and didn't get anywhere with it.
But there's really was only going to be a small fix going from 70 cents to $1
On a cell phone.
on a cell phone.
I knew she had some
And
legislation.
that was going to generate a little bit of income, but you wouldn't have experienced enough to cover 30 additional cents wasn't going to help a lot. That would have brought in, what, Jeff, probably about another 50,000, 60.
that pot's shrinking as well.
Yeah.
More people who get in compliance with the cell phone requirements.
Yeah, go divide the pot.
Yeah.
Go divide the pot.
You know, I don't know that cell phone usage is still increasing, it may be, but, you know, we've kind of peaked on that level, and landlines are like going away. I mean, if you compare and contrast the people who had landlines back in the early 2000s, so when all the internet was dial-up, there were people that had, you know, 2 or 3 lines in their house.
Yeah.
And
And they were
now
paying-
no one has it.
They were paying 911 fees on those landlines.
Yeah.
The best story I've had since dealing with 911 fees was a guy was in a nursing home one time that had a private telephone come into his room. He says, "Why do I need 911 in a medical facility? They got ambulances in and out of here every day." And he had a point. I couldn't argue. I said, and by law, he could do that. I said, "Johnny, all you got to do is scratch through it and not pay it." Are we going to come after you in the nursing home?
And if you were an unfortunate internet service provider back then, you paid it on every line coming in too.
You didn't pass it along?
No.
Oh, I feel bad for you. Anything else, Court?
Yes, Teresa Kemick, which served planning zoning for the past 17 years, is stepping down, and I want to publicly thank her for years of service and dedication.
Good point, Bernard. She's.
And I'm looking for someone.
We're looking for a
replace
replacement for that.
everybody knows.
District
So
3.
in District 3, we're looking for someone.
Anything else, guys? Anybody else out there? Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn. Bernard Rice made the motion to adjourn. Is there a second by Sam. All approved, say aye. Disapprove? Motion carried.